Hey, and welcome to another Tech Tuesday. This is Chad from Ascension Worship, and this week we're going to talk about moving channels on the X32.
Hey, what do you say? Yes, it's that time again. It's Tech Tuesday.
So there may come a time when you need to move your channels for one reason or another. Maybe you're adding in another kick mic or snare mic, or maybe you are like me and sometimes you visit churches for like a conference or something, and you need to move the channels to make everything work out for your workflow. Unfortunately, the X32 does not have a built-in channel move function. So what I'm going to show you today is how to use the Mixing Station Pro app that you can get with a with an Android device, and how you can use that to move your channels, and some extra tips and tricks on how to make sure that all your patching comes out correctly in the end. So what we have today is we've got an X32. It's hooked up to, I'm actually using my laptop as a wireless router, which is kind of cool. I might do a video on that pretty soon. And the network that's set up, I have my Amazon Fire tablet you see here connected. This is really cool. It's only $50, and it does a really great job for this kind of thing. I use iPads for pretty much everything else, but I've actually found this to be better for working with the X32. And so we've got the Mixing Station Pro app on here. Mixing Station is actually free, but the Pro app, which is what we're using today, does cost, I think it's like $7, and it's totally worth it. So what we have, if you can see on here, I'm sorry for all the camera moving going on, but we've got a basic scene set up where the drums are at the end. And so we've got bass, acoustic, a couple of electrics, keys left and right, and then we've got 4 channels of drums. And a lot of times I like my drums to be at the beginning because they are basically the foundation of my mix. Reasons why are kind of hypothetical, but the idea is that we're going to just move these 4 channels to the start of the channel list here. So to do that, it's pretty easy. You're going to go over into the app, and hopefully you can see it okay here. Sorry if it's a little bit blurry. But you're going to select your channels, in this case kick, and then up here there's a little folder. Click on the folder, and there's an option for move. So we'd click move, and then you would tell it what 2 channels to be between. So in this case, it'd be between the start and the first channel, which is bass. We'd hit move, and it would move all of our channels for us. Now, I'm not going to do that right now because there's a couple of other tricks that you need to know that will help to make this a lot easier for you. First of all, when you do move these channels, it will move all the settings except for the input selection. So if we look at config here, our source, and again, you may not be able to read this, but under source it says input 1. Input 7. When we move the kick to channel 1, as a default, it's going to also change the source to whatever was there before, which in this case would be a source of input 1. So what I've done, if you can see on here, is I have relabeled all the scribble strips to say the input number, because once we move these, we're going to use that information to reassign our sources to make sure everything works right. So we've got basses on 1, 2, 3, all the way up. Kick, again, is on 7, and then up to tom 2, which is channel 10. The other important thing to know is that any linked channels you have can have issues when you do this because of the nature of how linking works on the X32. So the other thing we're going to do is we're going to quickly unlink these channels. So we're going to go over here on the app, select our keys, and then we're just going to unselect the link here. Now that we've done that, we can start to move our channels. So I'm going to go to our kick, and just like we were talking about before, Go to the folder, move, and then I'm going to hit the move button here. I'm going to show you the board when I do this so you can see how it all works. All the channels are unmuted right now, but watch when I hit move. It mutes them, and it moves all the channels over. And we're done. We'll go over to the snare, move. I'm going to tell it to come up after the kick. And I'm going to show you the screen on this one, because when I do that, it'll tell you it's moving channels until it's done, and then it'll give you options to go back. Do the snare, or sorry, tom 1. It's going to move to after the snare. And then tom 2, move to after tom 1. And we're done with that. Now we need to go through and readjust all of our inputs. So we'll go to kick, which again is labeled, as you can see on here, it's labeled kick 7. Go to my config tab. I'm going to change this to 7. Snare is 8. Tom 1 is 9. Tom 2 is 10. Bass is 1. Acoustic is 2. Electric 1 is 3. Electric 2 is 4. Keys is 5 for left and 6 for right. And that's it. Now we can go back to our keys. Ooh, excuse me. And relink it. And we are done. We now have all of our channels in the order that we want them in, and all the patching is correct. All the links are correct. The only other thing that we would need to be aware of is if there were any rack effects that were inserted, we would probably need to go and reassign those as well. But for a basic setup, that's all you need to do. You can see on here, it now says kick, and above the kick it says A7, so that you know that it's no longer a 1-to-1 patch. We could, of course, go back through our scribble strip and remove the 7 from the name if we want to tidy things up. But that's it. Now everything is ready to go. And to the band, once you turn them on, it'll be like nothing ever happened. It's just going to be prettier on your end, and you'll be ready to go. I hope this has been helpful for you. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment below, or you can email me at TechTuesday@ascensionworship.com. Like always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and to share. And until next time, have a great week. Again, this is Chad from Ascension Worship. I hope this has been helpful for you and your team. Come back here every Tuesday for new information.